When I was married, my husband needed everything a certain way. The smallest inconvenience would put him in a very terrible mood. He'd get super quiet, very avoidant, wouldn't make eye contact, sometimes for days. And I became an expert in knowing how to read him, knowing when to give him some space and when to ask questions, and sometimes I was able to pull him out of it.
Isn't that what men say women are like? Like women are the ones who you can't read and you can't understand, and oh, I just can't understand a woman. But then here goes a woman saying, oh, I had to learn how to read my husband.
A woman deserves to feel at ease in her own home. I was always 5 steps ahead, knowing what would set him off, preventing his next outburst, whether it was a cup falling over or on the wrong table or we used the wrong knife or something was out of place.
The reason you can't read your wife is because you don't care to, because you don't think it's your job to learn how to read your wife. One of the things that I wish for every day is that more men would engage in these conversations in good faith. I say that because obviously it would be healthy for everybody involved, but I also really want men to get better. And one of the quickest ways for men to get better is to listen to women. Like if a woman is already talking, just listen to her. You know what I mean? You don't have to ask a woman to do the labor for you and be like, hey, teach me everything I need to know about y'all. Like, you don't have to do that. But like, women are talking because women talk. So all you have to do is listen. Or should I say, but instead of doing that, men are choosing to ignore the things that women are saying. And not only that, they're trying to discredit the things the women are saying. And that just leads to a whole set of problems that don't need to exist for the woman and for the man. There are things going on within that man's relationship that he could address, that that he could be better at, but he refuses to listen to his woman and any woman, right? He don't want to listen to his woman, cool. But then there's another woman telling you the same thing. And you, like, when you come across that content, when you come across that woman saying the same thing, you tear her down. You try to do the same thing to her that you do to the woman in your relationship.
I want to talk about who I was when I was married and who I am now that I'm divorced. And I want both men and women to hear this. But a lot of men come at me in my comments because I got divorced. And I think it's because they're causing the same kinds of issues in their own marriages, and they're afraid their wives will leave them too, and it triggers them to see a woman like me talking about it who did it.
A huge reason why men try to shame women for, being divorced is simply because the woman left. It doesn't even matter. You know what I'm saying? He's doing it. It's a manipulation tactic. It's a fear tactic to get women to stay in relationships with men that know that they don't deserve to be in the company of the women. Like, we know, I know I don't deserve my wife, but no, she's here, but I'm not going to use some freaking manipulation to keep her here. If she's going to be here, she's going to choose to be here all on her own volition, right? But these men fear being left, and they fear being abandoned, and they fear having to do the labor on their own and all these other things. They fear missing out on all the things that these women provide. And you would think it would propel the men to be better people, but instead they take the easy route in their mind, which is trying to manipulate women and fearmonger.
But the thing is, like, a lot of what causes divorce is very avoidable if both people are willing to put in the work on themselves and figure out why they are the way that they are. When I was married, my husband needed everything a certain way. The smallest inconvenience would put him in a very terrible mood. He'd get super quiet, very avoidant, wouldn't make eye contact, sometimes for days. And I became an expert in knowing how to read him, knowing when to give him some space and when to ask questions, and sometimes I was able to pull him out of it.
You know what's funny about that isn't that what men say women are like? Like, women are the ones who you can't read and you can't understand, and oh, I just can't understand a woman. But then here goes a woman saying, oh, I had to learn how to read my husband. The reason you can't read your wife is because you don't care to, because you don't think it's your job to learn how to read your wife. Now, I don't think it was her job to do this. She did it because she was in a relationship with him, and women often do things that would seem crazy to me as a man. Like, I would never do it, but they do it because they have empathy and they love us and they've been conditioned to do so. But men won't do it even when they need to do it, and they should do it. Even when you should, like, there's a fine line between this and being proactive. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should be proactive in your relationship, meaning you're gonna have to have like a certain level of like intuition. You're gonna have to be able to read your spouse and to know, like, all right, yeah, okay, it's coming up. If I don't change my behavior, if this doesn't happen, oh man, she been all day, or for all day she been going through it with the kids. When I get home, I need to make sure I do the, you know what I'm saying? Like, instead of thinking like that, men just wait until a woman tells them, and then if the woman does, then when the woman tells them, they say she's nagging. Then when she doesn't tell them and blow up, they say, "Oh, you didn't tell me anything. Why didn't you ever share this information with me? How am I supposed to read your mind? I'm not a mind reader." It's a lose, lose, lose for the woman.
I was like his emotional caretaker. I was always his rescuer, but he often resented me for that. As a woman, it's exhausting to live with someone who shuts down over every little thing. We call this walking on eggshells. It's not leadership when the whole household is regulating their nervous system around the dad because he's out of whack. When the mom is more focused on keeping dad from melting down, the kids get a lot less of her. A woman deserves to feel at ease in her own home. I was always 5 steps ahead, knowing what would set him off, preventing his next outburst, whether it was a cup falling over or on the wrong table or we used the wrong knife or something was out of place, whether it was traffic or kids being kids and it was taking us too long to get somewhere, do something, pack up the car, they needed to tie their shoe. He lived in his head, spinning.
And these are the groups of people, the women that I'm talking about now. These are the groups of people that men are trying to convince me don't know how to talk to men. the women that do all of this, and a lot do. I don't know the percentage of women. I do feel like most women in relationships do stuff like this. So I'm gonna say most women do some variation of what she's describing with her man walking on eggshells. Women will sit up and think about how to say something to a man, the littlest thing, for hours, days, weeks, months. They will ponder, they will talk it out, they will write it down just so they can bring it to a man and have him crumble it up and throw it in her face and say, "Why are you always nagging me?" And then we wonder why the women leave, and then we wonder why we have all these issues in relationships.
Stories. And I was twisting myself to keep the peace and constantly looking out for him to read him. That meant neglecting my own needs. That meant I went in the back seat for our entire almost 10-year marriage. Now that I'm divorced, I would never choose that again. After my time in isolation, because one person always jumps straight into a relationship and the other person works on themselves usually and gets like super hot, I finally put my own nervous system front and center and felt like I was the main character of my life again. I didn't get that chance until I was 34. So at 34, it was the first time I was learning to regulate my nervous system because I grew up with a father who was just like this. Our first marriages are often the trauma responses of our childhood if we didn't heal, if we don't know what that means, if we don't realize that we are creatures of pattern. And it's not love necessarily, it's your nervous system saying, I'm in danger. And you're like, I'm in love. I wish I could go back and hug that younger version of me who thought this was it. This is the dad of my kids. So of course I respect him for the sake of making sure that we raise kids together. That's about it. But I wish I could go back and be like, sweetie, he's told you like 100 million different ways that he doesn't actually like you. But it reminded me of my avoidant father and my avoidant brothers and just having this pick-me energy, wishing someone would see me. My mom wasn't emotionally available either, so it was like a perfect storm. Men who grow up with overbearing mothers think a woman should worship them. The whole house ends up tiptoeing on the dad's mood. And it's usually a bad mood, especially to...
I think most men feel like I didn't grow up with an overbearing mother at all. I grew up a latchkey kid. But yeah, I feel like that though. Like, I don't know if I feel like that now, but like I felt like that as a man. I want us to understand that a lot of what's going on with men men are an anomaly in this way. No, we're not an anomaly. We're not. But a lot of what goes on with men is really caused by other men and not the dads all the time. Like, not, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of time the dads ain't even in the home, I'm saying. Like, and that's caused by the dad too, but you know, there's trauma from that. But I'm saying, like, not directly from the dad. A lot of the things that men, how we act, it comes directly from our environment. It comes from other men. Like, not, and it's, I wish I can articulate it better, but the best way to describe it is you just learn it through osmosis. It's one of the only things you learn through osmosis. Like, you don't have to like seek it out. You don't need to belong to like some fraternity. You automatically are in the fraternity. As long as you are male presenting, as long as you present as a man, you are in the fraternity. You will get the treatment, you will hear the lingo, you know what I mean? Like, it will happen. It will happen. You will be indoctrinated. It's really wild, man. It's such a crazy thing.
The dads, when your football teams lose, like, why are your kids knowing that they have to go outside because dad's angry? Come on, man. You really don't understand what it does to all of us, what it's doing to your wife and your kids. I used to think my husband's silence and anger was about me, and I used to tear myself apart in my own head. I would bend myself into what I thought he wanted, and that's how women let themselves go. When you see a woman who used to be super beautiful and now she's got short hair and she's like 40 pounds overweight or more and she's just like surviving life, she's in survival mode, it's not because we stopped caring. We're horrified, we're embarrassed, stuck in shame and grief because we're married to you, because we can't access you, we can't connect to you. We can't pull you out of your own bullshit because we don't know how, but we're trying. Survival mode past the toddler years doesn't make any sense. But it's when a woman's been pouring into everyone else except herself. And of course it makes sense to pour into your kids, but a lot of women are pouring into their husbands who aren't even receiving. It's like pouring into a vase that doesn't even have an open top. The water's just spilling out everywhere and she could be drinking it. She could be giving it to herself. To the men, when you get mad about little things, a shower taking her too long, a cup spilling, the toys are out, the kids are being slow, you gotta master this. You could lose your family over this, the regular access to your kids and your family life where you have a woman who's laying in a bed with you in a home and maybe 2 incomes. It's not a threat, it's reality. Women are waking up and realizing we aren't supposed to center you. You're supposed to center us. You call us crazy or emotional because you can't take accountability for how you make us feel. You don't even probably realize that you're doing it, which is why it's an argument. When we
I know that when she said that men are supposed to center women, I know that triggered a lot of men, but the way our society is set up, I do agree. I agree with that. I've said that before many a times, how I feel like the older I've gotten, I realize that I'm really just supposed to, not just, but because I went so long being deficient and being ill-equipped to do so many things, and my wife is equipped to do those things and has always been equipped to do those things, that the the best position for me is to be in a help role, like, you know, like they say, like women are helpmates and shit. Like I'm more of a helpmate than I am. Like, I'm not the leader, I'm not the organizer, I'm not the planner. I do solve problems, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm good, like I have keen skills, like I'm good at a lot of stuff, you know what I'm saying? So like the way I look at it, and I hate to use a sports analogy, but I think it fit. It's like it's like when LeBron James started playing with Dwayne Wade. It's like, if Dwayne Wade is your second option, because like, he's fucking awesome. He has a crazy skill set, right? He's a champion in his own right. He can do so much. But you know what I'm saying? Like, like I'm a role player. I'm like a really fucking great role player. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I look at myself. And I don't think there's like no shame in that. There's no shame. Again, to use a sports analogy, role players play 10 years and make millions and millions of dollars, and they get accolades and everybody knows them and they get hella praises. I don't need to be Michael Jordan. I'm okay. You know what I mean? Like, one of the most freeing things for me has been able to like temper my expectations of myself as I've gotten older. And I mean, it started a long time ago, but like, I grew up doing music, and I remember being like 30 and being like, you know, when I had my first child, and I was like, yeah, I'm never like, rap is never going to happen for me. And I got really close. So to people that don't understand, I got really close. You know, I'm like, I was almost famous. I did a lot of stuff. I did a lot of shows. I was with a lot of, you know, I was in the game. Like I wasn't like on the outside looking in, thinking like one day I was gonna luck up and be a rapper. Like I was in it. I made money off of it, all these things. And I got really close. And then, I was so close, but I was so far. And when I was like 30, 31, I was just like, yeah, like you're good. Like just be the best, whatever salesperson you're going to be, just be the best. And I just shifted my attention and my effort into doing something else. And that's been like a superpower of mine as I've gotten older. That way I don't resent my life. I don't regret being married to my wife. I don't regret having my children. I don't regret the life that I have. You know what I mean? I don't walk around sulking all day because I'm fucking Al Bundy and I scored 4 touchdowns in a high school football game 20 years ago. That's not me. That's not me. I'm happy. I'm happy where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of that has come from me letting go of a lot of that shit, but men won't. Men will not do that.
Or emotional because you can't take accountability for how you make us feel. You don't even probably realize that you're doing it, which is why it's an argument. When we start hard conversations and you shut down or you yell at us or you get wasted or you go watch porn or you go gamble or you just go on your phone, you start talking to other women. When we start those hard conversations, that's us reaching for you to connect. We're so intuitive. No one believes in you more than a woman who is like trying to micromanage you. She's like trying to save this, but she shouldn't be having to do that. When you force us into rescuing and chasing mode, you're in your feminine and we're stuck in our masculine. That's not how it's supposed to be.
I don't like when we use those terms. I don't like when we use those terms to describe masculinity and femininity, chasing, and that I don't like that. But that's just me. It does a disservice to everything she's saying right now when she says that type of stuff to me. But I agree with everything she's saying thus far, except for let's get away from like the divine masculine and the feminine, and women are supposed to be chased and men are like, let's one of the things that a problem in her relationship was the rigid gender roles that women were like, he saw her as a woman and he saw her as a helpmate and she was supposed to serve him and because of rigid gender roles. So let's not play into gender roles anymore, right?
So moms, stop worshiping your sons. Stop over-mothering. It's misplaced emotions for how your husband isn't paying attention to you. You're raising daughters to believe that they come second because they're watching you, and sons to expect to be catered to. You're just raising the next generation of abusive, weird, narcissistic, upside down, backwards marriage dynamics. A woman is a mirror and a reflection to how you're making her feel. If you take care of my basic needs, I will make your life 10 times better. And I'll stay hot doing it. When I was married, I couldn't even sleep in without it causing tension. That's weird. I am not a soldier. And on top of it, I was the breadwinner. I birthed our 2 kids. I tore many ACLs in college. I needed my rest. I needed that to be important to him. I was called lazy. I was woken up from naps. I was ignored and made to feel like there was something wrong with me, that I needed to lie down if I was sick. He didn't want to hold my hand. He didn't want to ever sit next to me. He didn't want to go to the gym with me. He didn't care for me after I gave birth.
I'm not going to lie. That when she said that she was the breadwinner, that actually started to make sense. That's making a lot of sense right now. That she was the breadwinner. That does make sense. Because y'all know how the men's get. When they not the breadwinners, they feel like they got to punish the women. Put her in her place.
About him, he wasn't interested. I don't choose that anymore. And I'm so grateful I got out. But it's a shame because I really wanted it to be him. I picked him. I wanted to be married. We were almost married 10 years. That's how long I was like, come on, we got to get in lockstep soon. Marriage is hard, but it's not supposed to be hard from day one. And at some point, a woman with a brain is like, what the F am I doing? It wasn't his fault that he's this way. We all had a weird childhood. But I had to go because I don't want my kids to watch this. I don't want them growing up with this dynamic because I grew up watching my parents stay together and it messed me up. I went to recreate history and then I had to hit eject and blow everything up because I was repeating what mommy and daddy did. So men, treat your woman like a prize. She's a reflection of you. She chose you. Prioritize her. Give her breaks. Ask her if she's okay. Go get her a glass of water. Bring her coffee. Celebrate the fact that you get to raise children together. Raising them isn't an annoyance. It's the most important responsibility you get to have. And women, you don't have to live in survival mode. If you've given someone a million chances and they keep showing you that they don't love themselves, because that's all it really is. It's not that they don't love you. They don't love themselves, so they can't love you or anyone else. Full permission from me to hit eject, because it's not your job to wake him up and get him to care. He's got to choose that for himself. Staying married and losing myself would have killed me. I'm 100% sure of it. The chronic illness was coming on. I was letting myself go. I wasn't getting exercise. I was becoming an angry, bitter old woman like all the women before me. Leaving is hard, but it gave me my life back. Staying was hard. Choose your hard. Men, don't put us in this situation. When a woman chooses divorce, you think, oh my God, like you think we like that? It's awful for us too. You know how hard it is to like pick someone and then be like, you know what? I quit this team.
Men actually are convincing themselves that women just want to blow the whole thing up. Just because, like last night, I heard some dudes on the live say that same stupid saying: the men choose their families over their happiness, and women choose their happiness over their families. And I'm like, when did you guys start believing this lie? That is literally one of the craziest things I've ever heard. I'm not even playing. Like that is top tier delusion, psychosis.
But we still have to like pay attention and raise these kids together. Like it sucks. We don't like it either. We believed that this could be possible, but we couldn't get you to wake up and care. So, but men and women on both sides, don't settle. Work on yourself. Just don't settle. If you can't not settle for you, then don't settle for the sake of your kids. You deserve to feel like the main character of your own story. Whether you stay or rebuild or you leave, go at it 100%. Your kids are watching. Life is not a game. This is real. You probably want more for yourself. Go get it. Be a great partner. Maybe you can save your marriage. Maybe you can wake up and realize, oh my God, we have a great life. I'm the asshole. Or just don't settle for a partner that makes you feel like you're not the lead in this movie. There's nothing wrong with you if your relationship sucks, but you can change it. Whether you work on it and you both agree to do better, or you just decide this person has shown me a million ways that they don't love me and now I gotta go.
Yeah. People definitely need to get out of the relationships if they're not being served. And women are getting out of relationships nowadays, thank goodness, if they're not being served. Thank goodness. And they're trying to make that hard. Like we just covered the story yesterday on, Kentucky, making it harder for women to leave because they were giving the men automatic 50-50 custody, no matter what, which is crazy. Crazy. I say give nobody custody automatically. I'm not saying let the state take it, but I'm saying like the way that it should work is like the courts come in and you guys examine the you know what I'm saying? Like, so like, you got to examine it. Cause what the fuck? Just giving it giving it 50-50 to the man. That's crazy. I don't know. I don't like that. But yeah, everything she's saying, no, I rock with it for the most part. I hear exactly what she's saying. And if men were to stop being so adverse to listening to women and so adverse to growing, if you listen to a woman like her, who probably says a lot of, and is saying a lot of the same things that a lot of our women have told us, you may be able to hear it. It may resonate with you for once. You may be able to, get something from it and pick something up and it may click. But, sadly, most of us are just going to keep on fighting against it, but butting our heads up against a brick wall.